Aloha, beloveds. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Athena Rose, and I'm here on the big island of Hawaii. And I'd like to speak to you today about diet, some changes I'm making in my diet, and some clearing and cleansing that I'm doing around the spring equinox, and celebrating my second to youngest son's 17th birthday on the spring equinox. And with that, I'm making some pretty profound changes in my diet as a need to improve my health and overall optimal wellness. And a sister here on the island, I went out to her property recently, and she's growing a lot of beautiful fruits, exotic fruits, and I got to experience some of that and talk. And she shared with me a book, some material by Dr. Douglas Graham called the 80-10-10 diet, which is raw vegan, but more specifically very much limiting fats and proteins, and mostly eating carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, mostly fruits. And so I feel like I'm in a perfect place in my life to really experiment with this way of eating. And I'm here on the island where a lot of exotic fruits grow, and it's readily available and affordable and easily accessible and enjoyable. And so I'll be exploring that. This is my second day of following the protocol in the book, and I'm really excited to see the transformations that happen in my physical health and my well-being and my mental clarity and outlook on life. And I mentioned before, I work with kids and adults, children and adults on the autism spectrum or with developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, or differences. And since I've been working here on the island with that population, just become even more evident how crucial it is to have a clean diet. And we live in a fairly clean environment. There is the issue of volcanic sulfur in the air from the volcano here, what they call VOG. And so that affects the air quality periodically. But right now it's really clear, and we get a lot of rainfall, so it clears that up. And the soil is really rich in nutrients, and the air is really clean, and the water is really clean. So I've been getting a lot of that medicine while I'm here. And but there is a fair amount of folks on the island that experience issues with their nervous system, their sensory system, their cognitive ability. And I wonder what it's related to. And what I keep coming back to, since we live in such a clean environment, is diet. A lot of native folks here, a lot of folks in general, eat a very heavily starchy diet with a lot of protein from meat. And some of the kiddos I work with eat a lot of junk food, a lot of processed food, a lot of garbage, really. And it's disheartening, and unfortunately it's out of my control. I work for different agencies, and I can suggest things to families if they're curious and ask, but I can't I can't force my doctrine on people or try and persuade them one way or another. I feel like that would be stressful. But if it's helpful and it's good, then I'm happy to offer my advice for families who have children with autism and different disabilities and whatnot. And so, I just want to put that out there, that I'm available for coaching. I've been vegan for 13 years now, and been working on my body in a variety of different ways, from a psycho-spiritual perspective, working with different plant medicines and herbs, and working with my diet and exercise, which is a huge component of my health and well-being, is moving my body every day and sweating and lifting weights and getting my heart rate up and building my core and building muscle mass. And I'm 47 years old. I just turned 47. And I'm always grateful for each day as it comes. I'm so grateful for my breath, so grateful for the opportunity to be in service to the collective, to Mother Earth. And just notice what's arising within myself. And what I've been noticing lately is a lot of frustration around the diet thing. Folks knowing what's best for them, we've been knowing for years, long time, that fruits and vegetables, whole foods, are the most healthy for us. But rarely do people really actually follow a diet that's really heavily leaning on those foods as sustenance. And so it's frustrating to me to see the effects in our society: obesity, autism, intellectual disabilities, different diabetes, multiple sclerosis, like all these different autoimmune issues that are arising, heart attacks and high blood pressure. And all of this is diet related. Sure, some of it's genetic, but a lot of it is epigenetic. Our folks before were eating a certain way, and so they passed that along to us in our DNA. And we have the opportunity as awakened beings now at this time to really reverse that and heal the genetic codes through eating pure light, pure love, fruits and vegetables in the raw, whole form. And so I just encourage you to explore that for yourself. And if you have questions about the work that I'm following, the protocol that I'm following, I'm keeping a food journal. I'm paying attention to how much protein and fat that I take. But again, it's all raw vegan. It's all from raw vegan sources, and it's organic and whole food. And it's rich in antioxidants and water, and structured water, and vitamins and minerals. And it's pure living food, full of enzymes. It's a living food. And most food that people eat is not living. It's when processed, is dead. It's empty. It's empty calories. And so those calories accumulate over time. And folks are sedentary, just adds to the problem. I don't know what the obesity rate in this country is now in America, but I'm sure it's astronomical. Like, it's exponentially increasing every year. And I'd just like to be one of those folks who's on the leading edge of encouraging and being the example, holding a vibration of good health, of following health and wellness from the perspective of eating a clean diet and nourishing myself in a good way that's really helpful for myself and for my children and for my lineage ongoing, and heal some of this epigenetic imbalances for my lineage. And I'd love to help and assist at this time. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, Athena Rose Aloha. Again, I live on the big island of Hawaii, and I live out in the jungle, actually, near Kalapana, which is near Kahana Beach. If you're familiar with that, it's a famous black sand beach. And it's a joy. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to work with folks. It's a pleasure to tune into the land. And this weekend I'll be attending a women's retreat, and have the pleasure of sitting up with sisters and singing songs and, being with one another and listening deeply and holding space for one another. And just love to encourage women to continue to do that in whichever form that you feel most comfortable, and just empower you that you can do it. If you want sisterhood, if you want connection with other sisters, please feel free to reach out to me. I can give you some guidance and some advice on how to do that in the best possible way. My experience as a womb circle facilitator for the last 6 years, and I'd love to help. I'd love to assist. I'd love to help families that have kids on the autism spectrum. I have a son myself who's 19, who I modified his diet. He began speaking within the first few days after taking out certain things out of his diet and cleaning up his diet. And so it makes a profound shift. It can make a profound shift, especially if you start young. I highly encourage early intervention for kids that have been diagnosed with autism. And this isn't an ability, it's a disability, it's a sensitivity. And, we as community need to be sensitive to the needs of our most sensitive children and adults, and, help them out, guide them in the right way, and encourage them in the right way, and not try and get them to eat foods that aren't well with their body, with their system, because they're so sensitive. So I'd just love to encourage however I can in those realms. And thank you so much for tuning in. And may you have a blessed spring equinox. May you feel the aliveness, the freshness, the blooming and the blossoming energy that's available at the springtime. May you feel revitalized and nourished and peaceful and harmonious in your health and your heart and in your mind. And may you just be really refreshed in each day. May you be grateful for each day. Each day is a miracle. Each day is a blessing. Each day is a gift to be alive, to be embodied, and to experience the school of life and all that can teach us as souls on a soul journey. So thank you so much for tuning in. Bless you, bless your life, bless these beautiful trees, bless the land. And thank you so much for the water and the fire and the earth and the wind and the ether, guiding us and orienting us into our bodies and helping us become more embodied beings of light and love and awareness and aloha in every way.